Former Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has been sentenced to death by the International Crimes Tribunal in Dhaka after the court convicted her of crimes against humanity linked to last year's student-led protests that ultimately triggered the collapse of her Awami League government. Hasina, who is in exile in India, was tried in absentia. And she, in an exclusive conversation with CNN News18, has called this tribunal rigged and the judgment politically motivated. Awami League has even warned of a war after judgment was announced. The Mohammad Yunus regime in Bangladesh has heightened the security across Dhaka and other areas amid sporadic violence and crude bomb attacks ahead of this verdict that took place. The tribunal declared Hasina guilty on 3 counts. First, committing crimes against humanity by incitement. Second, order to use drones, helicopters and lethal weapons. And third, the inaction amid mass killings. Sheikh Hasina has challenged the evidence presented in her death sentence trial, calling the proceedings and the evidence against her politically motivated and fabricated. Her first reaction after the verdict was to denounce the tribunal as a mock trial orchestrated by the Yunus-led interim regime, asserting that the evidence, including audio recordings and witness testimonies, was either manipulated or selectively edited to justify a predetermined outcome.
आज যে রায় ঘোষণা করেছে এই রায়কে বাংলার জনগণ প্রত্যাখ্যান করে এই রায়কে বাংলার জনগণ মানে না মানবে না সারা বাংলাদেশে সকাল সন্ধ্যা শাটডাউন পালিত হবে এবং আমরা পরিষ্কারভাবে বলতে চাই অবৈধ ইউনূস সরকার যতক্ষণ পর্যন্ত না স্টেপ ডাউন না হবে ততক্ষণ পর্যন্ত আমাদের সংগ্রাম আমাদের লড়াই আরো তীব্র থেকে তীব্রতর হবে
Let me take this across to my colleagues. Kamalika Sengupta and Siddhant Mishra are now with us on the broadcast. Kamalika, coming to you first about this verdict that's come out of the ICT in Dhaka. Sheikh Hasina is not just denouncing this verdict, she's also calling it heavily politically motivated. After all, we all know the ICT was reconstituted, expanded after Sheikh Hasina's ouster, after this entire student-led protest was registered in Bangladesh in 2024. So the entire credence that was earlier given to the ICT under Mohibul Rahman, although it already lacks that kind of a justification, and now this argument that's coming in from Sheikh Hasina, how badly is this going to be impacting the entire regime under Mohammad Yunus in Bangladesh, and also the political significance as far as the global recognition that ICT so far has had?
Like as you pointed out, it has an international ramification, and also there are a lot of things which is going to happen back at home in Bangladesh. Right now, the verdict which has come, this verdict was what Sheikh Hasina and the entire Awami League team, they were suspecting. And yesterday itself, that is the reason for which Sheikh Hasina actually spoke with all her supporters, her leaders online, and she stated at that point of time that she does not consider this entire court to be legal. And if we see that 13th also there was a lockdown, so this campaign that this entire thing is a kangaroo court, that has been put forward by Hasina and the entire Awami League team, not today but from the last 2-3 months, or from the time when this entire initiation took place. First, we have to really think that how long this trial took place. This is probably the shortest trial which took place in Bangladesh. This is a very short time, it's like only 15 months, and then the final verdict was given. This does not happen in Bangladesh. Number 2 is the point which they are raising, that there is the legality of this entire entire tribunal is in question. Whereas when today the verdict was read by the from the court, there they referred that under which article, under what point of the constitution they stand there. So definitely there is going to be some protest which is there in the home, then entire shutdown. I have been speaking to some of the Awami League leaders, and they, like we have also spoken to the General Secretary Obaidur Kadir, who is also in exile, and his name also is there in this case. They are clearly saying that shutdown will continue until UNIS regime falls. Now, how far of that is possible by Awami League on ground, that is to be seen. But it is very clear that 13, they were quite successful, and since yesterday also there have been number of violence incidents which has taken place. Second, definitely this home politics will be there, and specifically because the election is coming in. So how, and that election is also not inclusive. There also Awami League will not be able to participate. Now that is also another point which will have, this judgment will have an effect on that, and that's what Awami League is being saying, that this judgment is been only made just because the election is there. Second, we have also to see that the international ramification.
Yes.
Whatever has happened, like even if we consider that the Sheikh Hasina's rule was bad, but then what has happened in last 1.5 years is also not very good for Bangladesh. That's what a section of international fraternity feels that. And also in India, how the Bangladesh will take the entire thing and how this execution will take place, that is clear. But on one sentence, it's clear that this is going to give Awami League more reason to be on roads when Awami League is banned. So very much unrest and volatile situation is expected in Bangladesh.
Right, more troubling times ahead. Thank you so much for that, Kamalika. And Kamalika rightly mentioning how Sheikh Hasina is safely in India, and so far, even though India and Bangladesh do share an extradition treaty, will this mean that India must extradite Sheikh Hasina? That depends on a lot of other factors. Let's take a look at more reactions coming in.
What's your assessment of this sentence and this verdict? As you know, Bangladesh, ousted Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has been sentenced to death by the ICT. This is the verdict. She was found guilty on charges of crimes against humanity.
The tribunal which was constituted to try genocidal officials of Pakistan Army and their collaborators during the time of 1971 is now misused, has been misused by the interim regime. I say misused because the tribunal didn't have the mandate to try any other criminal case but charges of genocide during the time of 1971. This government has brought some amendments into the law for which they actually had no legal authority. The constitution only allows the parliament to pass amendments to laws. They're an interim government. They brought these amendments hastily just to include the riot situation of 2024 and try Sheikh Hasina and the senior leadership of Awami League and convict them before the next election. So it's a plot to exclude Awami League as much as possible from the next upcoming election, which they want to hold in a one-sided manner. So they know that the verdict cannot be executable because she's not in their custody. They know that even the Home Minister is not there. They have already turned the other accused, the Inspector General of Police, into the state's witness. So the whole process was farce. And we of course reject this verdict.
Right, of course, there's also this very big aspect of the international community, especially the government of India. What sort of expectations are there?
So could you repeat that question again?
I just want to ask you what you think the role of the international community is, specifically India.
You see, they are trying to finger point at India for giving our leader shelter. It's not just that India has given our leaders shelter. Many of our colleagues have gone to other countries, France, UK, USA, and many other, Australia, for example, and they have obtained asylum in these countries. So many countries in the world do recognize what is happening in Bangladesh, that the country is in the grip of an extremist group. And there is a wholesale persecution of secular liberal political leaders.